Hey, I'm Aja A, and welcome to Sunshine Haze. Don't forget to check out all the links that I have listed down in the description box, and if you like the video, please give me a little thumbs up. If you have any questions after the video is over, feel free to drop them down below. I try to respond to everyone. And if you all know people interested in astrology, numerology, tarot, or whatever I'm talking about on this channel, go on and send them this link. And don't forget to hit subscribe. And of course, thanks for tuning in and rocking with me. May this info help y'all live your best lives. Peace. Hey guys. Today's video is about the moon. We are back. I am looking at this lighting and it's stressing me out, guys. It's stressing me out. In what's supposed to be a media studio, and it just drives me crazy that these rooms are not soundproofed and that the lighting is so trash, but this is supposed to be like a place for like film and video and audio but you know, that's neither here nor there. I just want to get y'all some information. So we are in a new lunar cycle now, and we're in one of my favorite signs. I love me some Pisces, y'all. Y'all know I'm a little water baby myself, but I love Pisces people. I love Pisces energy, and we are having a new moon in Pisces. We are now in the Piscean lunar cycle. Excuse me. For those of you guys that have yet to watch a video of mine or just have no idea what is going on in astrology, when we talk about new moons and lunar cycles, we're talking about the time from when the moon starts in that one sign as it goes through all the other 11 signs and then getting ready to go into a next. So we're now talking Pisces lunar cycle, which is beginning of March through the beginning of April. And when we have a new moon, that is that is when the moon in the sun in the sky is all aligned, but the side of the moon that we see is not illuminated, so technically it's like we don't see it. Well, I guess you can't really see it, but that's why it's called a new moon, because it's technically starting over. The energy associated with new moons is new beginnings, starts of new cycles. There's also a little bit of like mystery and secrecy and sometimes anxiety associated with the new moon because of that air of, oh, this is all fresh, this is all new, and we don't really know what exactly is going on just yet, okay? All right, so this new moon in Pisces we're going to be having on Wednesday, March 6th, and it's going to be at 11:04 a.m. Eastern time. So it's in the morning. It starts the day off, which is cool. Get a new little pop in energy going for us, right? All right, let's get into the shits. Let's talk about what we're here to talk about. So, new moon happening in Pisces. For those of you guys that wonder why I love the Pisces sign so much, Pisces is a sign associated with creativity. It is associated with spirituality. Pisces is the little fish, the little two fishies with the tails tied together, and it's just swimming wherever they want to go. So with this new moon coming in, we are really looking at this fresh new energy, this new wave of, creativity. We may definitely see during this time a pull or feeling like you need to, write, or you need to paint, or you need to sing, or do something creative that's not necessarily, by the book. Pisces is also, with this being a 3-year and us coming into the Pisces lunar cycle, talking all about that collaboration and creativity and communication and community, this lunar cycle, I would not be surprised if a lot of you guys find yourselves either starting to talk about new projects working with other people, or if you just find yourself in the way of creating with other individuals or other groups of people that you maybe wouldn't have been working with prior to, but just to know that is that Pisces energy being lent to all of your projects over this next month. I got a lot of notes here. You guys, I wrote these notes out maybe like 2 or 3 days ago. If you know me, I got hella notebooks, and I got notebooks for like every single thing. That might be my Capricorn rising. I had the notes for this video written out in that notebook along with my notes for the Mercury retrograde, and I left it, and so I had to sit and write all these notes out again. And like inside, I'm like, I had notes and I knew exactly how I wanted to talk about this, but whatever. So I'm kind of still functioning with the old notes. They're very much the same, but if you know me, you know that just, it drives me crazy. I'm driving myself crazy with the fact that I don't have the right notebook. But next up, with this new moon being in Pisces, and Pisces being the sign associated with spirituality, like with psychism, this is definitely going to be a time of enlightenment. What I wanted to touch on was, with this being Pisces and it being such a spiritual sign and this being a new moon, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm just talking about it anyway. Pisces is also mutable. And mutable signs are signs that are associated with kind of wrapping up the seasons. Pisces is the sign that wraps up the winter season. So Pisces comes in with the look, even though Pisces is water and y'all be trying to play us with the passive energies, even though mutable signs tend to carry passive energy. But anyways, that's the technicalities. Y'all be trying to play the water signs with that passive energy, but Pisces actually has a really big job, and I think that's why it does resonate with such a highly spiritual energy, is because it wraps up not only the winter season, which is the season of endings. I was going to say death because I read tarot, so I associate death with endings, but I know people associate death with like, oh my gosh, girl. So winter is the season associated with endings, wrapping cycles up, releasing things that no longer need to be carried around, and it is also, Pisces also wraps up the end of the astrological year. So with this being a mutable sign, this is wrapping up everything from the past year for us. Although we're in 2019, you can kind of just toss the whole 2018 in there. Let's just do it. Let's just sprinkle it in. We're wrapping up everything from the past year, specifically more so from the past astrological year. So really, I did just say that, but really think about what was really transpiring for you from March last year to this year. Why can't I talk? From March last year to March this year. With that being said, any new beginnings or anything that you kind of had to get done last year, and this is why last year was so important for so many of us. Last year was an 11-2 year, so any new cycles that you came into last year, especially if you felt like they were temporary, don't be surprised if you see these things starting to wrap up around this time. And it may not necessarily mean that it's going to wrap up and end right now during this lunar cycle, but you will see, so to speak, the beginning of the end coming up with this Piscean lunar cycle, okay? Going back into what I was saying about spirituality, Pisces is a highly, highly spiritual sign. Pisces carries a very psychic energy. Pisces is also a very intuitive sign, as all the water signs are, but Pisces is very intuitive. Pisces is the psychic sign. It's ruled by Neptune. I mean, like, come on. In which I do have a video on Neptune being in Pisces. It is from last year, but we have Neptune in Pisces for a while. And during this time, we actually, with this new moon being in, with us going into the Pisces lunar cycle, we're also in the Pisces solar season. We also have Mercury in Pisces, and we have Neptune in Pisces. So there's a lot of Pisces energy going on right now, which is going to allude to all of these feelings of just falling into alignment with what you're supposed to be falling into alignment with. Pisces is a sign of, like I said, spirituality. So when I think Pisces, I think intuition, and when I think intuition in regards to the way that the lunar cycles affect us, I think, oh, whatever is going to be popping off during this next lunar cycle, we're going to very much so feel drawn to it, and we're going to feel like that is what we are aligned with, and that is that Pisces energy coming in strong along with the sun and Mercury and Neptune. So even though, people be going at Pisces heads for them being, kind of lost in the sauce all the time, which they're not. Pisces is a very imaginative sign. These people spend a lot of their time in their heads just coming up with, I don't even want to say ideas, just coming up with a bunch of different things. Like, they spend a lot of their time in their imagination, and that is lending to the energy that we're dealing with. However, it is more so in terms of, okay, Pisces is a feeling sign, so what are we feeling? Where do we feel pulled to? What do we feel like we need to be doing? Because Pisces is associated with spirituality. It's really the energy for this lunar cycle is us falling into alignment with what our true purposes are. I did talk a lot about this last year in 2018, talking about, stepping into what we're really supposed to be doing, what we really need to be doing, wrapping up the astrological year. All that stuff we were figuring out last year is, I don't want to say come to a head, but you will definitely see these things start to pop up during this lunar cycle. No doubt about it. Pisces is a water moon. So with that being said, even though I do say for the new moons, the energy is not as emotional as it is for the full moons, where the energy is like, oh, our cup runneth over with emotions. It's more so, like I said, a little bit more of a tense energy, a little bit more of an anxious energy surrounding the new moon. However, because it is a water moon, you just expect to have a little bit more feelings than you're used to feeling around these lunations popping off for you. And it could go one of two ways. Okay, on the negative side, I do like to talk about the shadow side a little bit of these signs. So, because these lunar cycles, the moon rules our emotions, so the moon be playing with us. So I don't like to sugarcoat things. So on the shadow side, Pisces can be very aloof. Pisces can also be, can easily fall into spaces of like depression, or spaces of just feeling very weighed down by their feelings. Also, with this being a new moon in Pisces, so that energy, with this being a new moon in Pisces, you can definitely, if you feel like you're starting to rock a little bit on the shadow side, you can expect to maybe start feeling a little sad behind your feelings and your emotions, or what you're emotionally invested in or attached to. You can also expect to be a little lost in the sauce. I'm gonna just be real with y'all. There was a tweet that I saw. It had to be last week, and it was like Pisces placements, and I don't remember the other ones, but Mercury had me dying. It was like Mercury and wait, what? Oh no, it was like Sun and Sleepy, Moon and I forget, Mercury and wait, what? And I think it was like Mars and Pisces is go off, I guess. So expect to be a little lost in the sauce. Pisces energy can easily get you there because you'll spend so much time in your head thinking about things, and because it's Pisces, you'll be thinking about things that your heart is all into, or that you've put a lot of energy into. But try to remember that these are energies associated with the moon kind of pulling and playing with you, and try not to get too consumed by them, because with the water moons it is a little bit easier for those emotions to kind of overtake us and overcome us. Okay. All right, what do I got next, y'all? I don't have this written down because y'all know I am not the love guru, but I did want to briefly talk about Pisces is a water sign. Water is associated with love. Pisces is, the best way that I like to describe this is, I consider Pisces like a free love sign. And I don't mean that in the sense of Pisces is just tossing it all over the country and, whatever. I mean that in the sense of Pisces is a sign that is just filled with love and filled with imagination and all the things. And with this being a lunar cycle in Pisces, I definitely do want to say that some of you guys will for sure either be kind of revisiting, I don't want to say not revisiting, because I'm not talking about like a retrograde energy. This being a new lunar cycle, you guys might start to see a spark in some new love interest. Very much so that you might just come into this space of feeling like, oh, okay, I know what type of partner I want now, or I know what type of energies I need to put out, or I know what I need to be bringing in. Again, coming into that energy of just falling into alignment with your true purpose of where you're supposed to be, of where your soul is supposed to be, what it's supposed to be doing, if that makes sense. All right, now we can get into the numerology. So this new moon is like the last few new moons. It's happening in 15 degrees, 15 degrees of Pisces. And so the numerology there, 1 is the number of new beginnings, new cycles. It's a number of manifestation. It's also the number of independence. We've also got the 5 there, which is the number of transformation. It's the number of change. And with this new moon being in Pisces, and I'm talking about us wrapping up the year with that mutable energy, wrapping up the astrological year, there is this energy coming through with this moon of, okay, we figured it all out. We know what we need. We know what we need to do. We know what we want. Now is the time to wrap it up, kick out whatever is left. And although this is not a full moon, this is the start of the lunar cycle, this is the time to see what you need to get ready to kick out before we go into Aries lunar season and Aries solar season too. Before we go into the new astrological year. So there's this energy of, okay, I understand, I now know, I understand, I see what needs to be done because I figured it all out. I now feel in my soul, in my spirit, in my heart where I'm supposed to be going, where life is supposed to be taking me, and this lunar cycle is what that energy is going to be coming with. That 15 breaks down into 6, and if you guys know anything about numerology, you know that 6 is considered the perfect number. So this is just a really bomb ending of the astrological year. And I mean, every astrological year ends with Pisces, but the energy here with the numerology is really like, okay, yes, that 11-2 year did us in. We learned all the lessons, and believe me, I know, y'all, I know they were tough. So it's like, okay, we figured it all out. We went through the trials and tribulations of getting to this point. We are wrapping up that astrological year that way. When Aries rolls in, we can hit the ground running, and we have a sense of stability. We also have a sense of, like I said, knowing and understanding what our soul purpose is, what we're supposed to be doing here, what we need to do in order to be content and happy within our own lives, right? Excuse me, sorry. Bringing that in with this new Aries lunar cycle coming up next. So this is really the wrap up, but it's also like I see how to wrap things up, and you can really start wrapping shit up once we get into the full moon, okay? What's next? Oh, that's it. That's it. So we are in the Pisces lunar cycle. Understand that you might get a little lost in the sauce during this time, but this is really a good time for creativity. It's a good time to kind of get reconnected with your own spirituality. It's a good time to start thinking about, if you're not in a relationship, or even if you are, start thinking about what it is that really fills your heart and fills your soul and makes you just feel, because I'm talking about water people, water signs, water energy. Feel it all, feel the feelings. I talked already about the moon being conjunct with the sun, Neptune, and Mercury. Mercury getting ready to go into, well, the retrograde starts the day before the moon, but I'm uploading these videos at the same time. So all of these planets are in Pisces, so just know that we're going to be rocking with Pisces energy for a little bit, which is okay. I know some of y'all probably like, all that water, I don't know. But me, I'm over here like, I kind of like it. I'm kind of ready. But don't want to speak too soon. We'll see. We got Mercury retrograde happening too, so we'll see. This is a good time if you do new moon intentions. This is a good time to write intentions based off of creative endeavors. Does anybody want to guess where I was born and raised? That would be Denver, Colorado. I meant to say creative endeavors. Good time to write intentions regarding your creativity. Good time to write intentions regarding just new types of, breakthroughs you want to have in your own spirituality and your own journey. This is a good time to write intentions in regards to the type of love that you want to see come into your life. And what else, y'all? Oh, I do always tell y'all what people or what's affected. So the people that are going to be mostly affected by this lunation are going to be people with their moon in Pisces and 15 degrees, of course. If your moon is in Pisces, you can expect to feel this. If your moon is in 15 degrees, even if it isn't in Pisces or within 6 or 7 degrees either side of that, you can expect to be really touched by this lunation. Personal planets in Pisces, definitely this is your moon. Also, even if it's not your personal planet, any planet that is in that placement or house, like you can expect whatever that area of your chart governs to be a little altered with this lunar energy. What else? I said that Pisces heavy charts, also charts with a lot of mutable energy. You can expect to see some shifts and some transformation kind of on a bigger scale than normal, or larger scale than normal during this time as well, okay? Ooh, I didn't mean to crack my knuckles on the screen like that. That was gross. Sorry, y'all. Anyways, Yeah, that's it, you guys. Because this is during the Mercury retrograde time, I am going to drop one little shameless plug. I am having a retrograde sale. As you guys know, if you've been rocking with me, I do a retrograde. You can get a retrograde reading at any time, but I do offer retrograde. I know I'm talking tarot cards. I do offer retrograde readings at a discount for the planets currently in retrograde. So currently you can get a Mercury retrograde reading until I think the 28th, and that's when I'll take that off of there. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I will see y'all next time.